Hey guys, Timola here from forexreviews.info and welcome to this week's edition of the weekly Forex Algorithm Review. I hope you're all well and that you had a great trading week last week. Okay, well in a few moments what I'll be doing is highlighting a number of important technical point areas in the market, including opportunity areas, management point areas and target areas. Now before we get into this week's review, I first would like to mention how much I appreciate you all. I appreciate the support and the likes and the shares. And if you did appreciate this video this week, please don't forget to click that like button. Every like is appreciated, people, and it's a really great way of letting me know that you want more of these videos on a regular basis, and it's a great way of supporting the channel. Also, if you have a comment on this week's edition of the review, feel free to comment below this video, and if you haven't subscribed to updates on YouTube or on the website at www.forexreviews.info, consider subscribing to updates as well. Anyway, let's get into this week's edition of the review and see what's happening on the charts. Okay, the first pair I'd like to hold this week in the review is EURUSD, and I'm on the daily chart. Now, my bias on EURUSD is much the same as previous reviews on this market, wanting to highlight two important zones. The first zone I'd like to highlight is if the market retests the 122.15 zone area again this week, that this is once again an area on this market where I'm interested looking for bullish evidence in this area and a potential move to the upside. Potentially looking for a move all the way up to this recent high as a potential management point area to the upside, or this high area as another management point area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 125.10 zone area to the upside. Now the 125.10 zone area is also another area that I'd like to mention on this market, and in this case an area to the upside, that if price action tests this area this week, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bearish evidence, and if that right sort of bearish evidence presents itself in this area, like it goes in training, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to this high area looking left, and this high as a potential management point area to the downside, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 122.15 zone area. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, next pair I'd like to highlight is GBUSD, and I'm on the 4-hour chart on this market this week. What I'd like to highlight on this market this week is that where price action is testing right now, which is the 142 zone area, that this is an area on this market where I'm interested in looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if that right side of bearish evidence presents itself in this zone, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to this low looking left as a potential management point area to the downside, and this high, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 138 zone area to the downside. Okay, next pair I'd like to highlight is AUD/USD, and I'm on the daily chart. Now last week in price action, AUD/USD broke above and closed back above the 77.12 zone area. And now that the market's done this, what I'd like to highlight is that if price action pulls back and tests the 77.12 zone area this week, that this is now an area on this market where I'm interested looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if I see that right bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 78.29 zone area to the upside. So overall on AUD/USD, on the 77.12 zone area as an area that if price action pulls back and tests this area this week, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence and a potential move to the upside from this important area. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, next pair I'd like to highlight is New Zealand USD, and I'm on the daily chart. Now, New Zealand USD was a great performer last week, hitting that long-term target area to the upside that I mentioned in previous reviews on this market for all those people holding a buy trade from the 72 zone area. And that was the 73.74 zone area. So overall, New Zealand USD was a great performer last week. What I'd like to highlight on this market this week is that where price action is testing right now is not only a great target area, as I mentioned in previous reviews, but it's also an area that I'm interested in looking for a potential bearish opportunity in this area and a potential move to the downside. Potentially looking for a move all the way down to this previous high area looking left as a potential management point area to the downside, or all the way down to this low as another management point area to the downside, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 72 zone area to the downside. So overall on this market, holding this market performed really well in price action last week, hitting that long-term target area to the upside for all those people holding a buy trade on this market from the 72 zone area, and also holding the 73, 74 zone area as not only a great target area to the upside for all those people holding a buy trade on this market, but also an area on this market where I'm interested in looking for a potential bearish opportunity in this area and a potential move to the downside from this important zone. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, next pair I'd like to highlight is Euro AD, and I'm on the daily chart. Now on Euro AD this week, what I'd like to highlight is a potential pullback area, and that is the 157.24 zone area. This is a great area that if price action tests this area this week, that I'm interested in looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if I see the right bullish evidence in this area, like we got in training, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to this low and high area, looking left as a potential management point area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to this previous major high. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight this week in the review is US JAPY, and I'm on the daily chart on this market this week. What I'd like to highlight is the 108.32 zone area where price action is getting quite close to testing. So if price action pushes that a little bit higher and tests this area this week, that this is an area on this market where I'm interested in looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if I see that right bearish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to this previous high area, looking left as a potential management point area to the downside, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 105.92 zone area, or potentially even lower on this market in the trend. So overall on US JAPY, on the 108.32 zone area as an area on this market where we're looking for bearish evidence and a potential move to the downside from this important area. And if I zoom out, you can see this is an area that acted as really strong support back here, and back here in the recent past. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, next pair I'd like to highlight is US Swiss, and I'm on the daily chart. Now on US Swiss this week, what I'd like to highlight is much the same as the previous review of this market, and that is the 97 zone area. This is an area to the upside that if price action tests this area this week, that this is an area on this market where we're looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if I see that right bearish evidence in this area, they're potentially looking for a move all the way down to this recent low and high area looking left as a potential management point area to the downside, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 94.45 zone area to the downside. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, next pair I'd like to highlight is CAD Swiss, and I'm on the daily chart. Now on this market this week, what I'd like to highlight is a potential pullback area, and that is the 75.41 zone area. This is an area on this market that if price action pulls back and tests this area this week, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if I see that right bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to the pullback high if the market pulls back from this area, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 77.18 zone area to the upside. So overall on CAD Swiss, holding that if price action tests the 75.41 zone area, so it's an if-then process, that this is an area on this market where I'm looking for bullish evidence and a potential move to the upside from this important area. Okay, well that's it for me for this review today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you all. I appreciate all the support and the likes and the shares and the comments I receive on a regular basis. And if you did appreciate this video today, please don't forget to click that like button to show support. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to comment below this video. Also, if you haven't checked out the Forex training at the site, such as the Engulfing Trader, the 5-day training series, or the Candlestick training series just yet, where you can find out all about this Forex training by clicking the links below this video. Okay, well I hope you all have a great trading week and happy trading.